Welcome to The Purpose Effect. I'm David Rosenfeld, your Wednesday host, along with my co-host, Alicia Limbo, who comes to you on Mondays. Together, we are The Purpose Effect. We will come to you also on Fridays with a show to get our combined perspective and a little bit of fun and exchange. The Purpose Effect is a podcast that we've created to share with you our purpose. Our purpose is to lead a community of people who would like to be healthier in their physical self, healthier in their emotional self, and healthier in your spiritual self. We are on this journey personally. We are sharing our experiences and the tools that we come up with along the way so that everybody can gain from this experience and we can all become better as a community. If you like what you see, please remember to like our videos, subscribe, share with your friends. That's how we make this work and get bigger and better. So this week's subject is awakening your inner roar. Alicia and our guest, Janine Brown, spoke on Monday about this. I am going to come at it from a little bit different angle. I think that our inner roar can not only be standing on the mountains and shouting to everybody who will listen, which I believe is absolutely a place. And if that's your calling and that's your voice, then by all means, that's what you should absolutely do. But a lot of this roar is how we, on our insides, empower ourselves to take the same situations that we've dealt with and turn them around into something that we can handle better. For example, I'm in the office today. We don't keep candy around, and I normally don't have a sweet tooth. Well, for the last couple of weeks, I've really been bad having to avoid sweets and catch myself so I don't go and have stuff that's just going to make me feel lousy later. So my empowerment is that I have control over myself. I have this inner power where I can make healthy choices. I can stop, change my perspective. Is it, oh, there's that candy, it's so good, I like it so much? Or is it, yeah, there's 2 seconds of satisfaction and 10 hours of inflammation, because that's what I get if I have some candy. My body doesn't respond well to processed refined sugars. It flares up my rheumatoid. So I can empower myself by thinking about all of the situation, not just the endorphin rush that we get from eating all of these super tasty, hyper palatable foods like the candies that we buy. Candy's not what it once was. It's not just, confectioner's sugar and some flavorings and chocolate and oils. Go read the list. They've created these foods that are hyper addictive, and then they pump us full of their medications to counteract the foods that they've created. They're all the same people. They're playing into all of the wrong things. So here's where the power is. The power is in each of us individually, by ourselves, but together, making better choices, right? Go in, head up, thought first about how you're going to do. We're going to the office party. In the past, there's been people that have done, too much alcohol or overindulged or behaved poorly. This is, I've been to many corporate Christmases where you hear someone, well, everybody gets fired. Some person gets fired every year because of this Christmas party. Well, why? Why do we have to overindulge? Why doesn't enough speak to you? Why isn't your roar being good to yourself? You know, if you find yourself in a situation where you need to speak out, speak out. If you find yourself in a place where it's best for you to just remove yourself from that situation, that is a different type of empowerment. Having boundaries and empowering yourself to be healthy through these seasons is very important. So that's kind of like one little teeny tiny part. Let's slip it over a little bit. Let's kind of take these situational things that are going to come up with families and work parties and friends and situations. Now, be bold. You're intelligent, you're invaluable, you're smart. Speak proudly about the things that you know. Share. Hopefully you've learned some things this year. This is the time of year to celebrate the accomplishments and contemplate maybe setting some goals for this next year, maybe some long-term and short-term goals. Have a voice, make a commitment to vote and be a part of change for whatever direction you support. I support you participating. Participate in life. Go out, be your best person. Let other people know they're valuable. Nobody should feel worthless or valuable. It's so simple. We can shout our kindness by simply opening a door. And it's loud because there's so many people who don't do that right now. Common courtesy and politeness can be a roar because it's not the norm. When the norm is something and you do it, it's what it is. You're supposed to, it's what society's expecting of you. But the power in change is that you can be that small percent, the 0.5% I keep speaking of. If you have difficulty with a coworker, butt heads, don't see things the same way, change your perspective. Look at it from their point of view. Try and understand what's happening. Make it a learning experience instead of a conflict. That is a roar. Showing difference, being positive. It will be seen so much more loudly than in times when people are being more kind. Right now, kindness sticks out, and that's kind of a sad statement, but it's the truth. So be the one that sticks out. Be the one that smiles. Be the one that says thank you. Be the one that's kind to that person who needs a little bit of kindness. Be the light, shine some light in this world. Let your roar be long lasting and consuming of the landscape. Standing on the mountain and shouting has its place. When that's your calling, please follow your calling. We need you to do that. But there's also those of us that can just be that low growl underneath. That is our roar. Our power is that we're moving with the inertia of being better, right? So if we're doing this 0.5% better per day indefinitely, because it's a concept, not a math equation. Our roar is the sound of light. It's the sound of the wind blowing the pollution away, right? All of this dirty noise that the media brings us is like pollution. So I want my roar to outweigh the pollution. So if you can think about, hey, how can we be better people? How do I get the pollution out of my life? Then I've roared, right? Because who wants pollution in their life? And whether that pollution is the pollution that you see, in the ocean, or the pollution that you see on the streets, or litter, or negativity is pollution. When you interact with a media source that does nothing but bring you down and only has doom and gloom and scare tactics, it's pollution. It's loud pollution. But, it plugs up your ears and blinds your eyes so that you don't have your senses left about how to deal with the reality of what you can and can't effectively change. We can all work towards change through, participating, but the only real change that we can affect is ourselves. So if I'm standing up and I'm saying, hey, look at me, I'm trying to get better. Join this journey trying to be better. I'm hoping that brightness, the light of the hope that this message has, shines its way through some of the pollution. Because if we grasp onto hope and light and the belief that we can do this, it's not easy. It's really hard to suck it up and come out here and go day to day. Some days, not so proud of how it goes. Some days I could definitely have been better. But every day I am some better. And that is my light. My shine is, I'm 60 years old. I'm set in my ways. I've been doing the same dumb stuff over and over and over again for decades. So they say the definition of insanity is doing the same things and expecting different results. My roar is to stand here and shout from the mountaintops, you don't have to accept the same thing. You can make a difference by recognizing the need for change and working towards change. It's a lofty goal to say, oh, I'm just going to change this. There are people on this planet who can pick things in their life and change it. Not the norm, right? It takes effort. You work at it. You blow it. You get upset with yourself. You try harder. Same situation comes up. You don't blow it. You get excited. You feel invigorated because you've learned a new skill. Hey, this triggered me the last time it happened. Here it's happened again, and I've managed it much better. I'm very proud of myself. And then you grow a little bit, and you glow a little bit, and the light that shines out of you will roar in all of the aspects of your life. When you are guarding your physical health, you are nurturing your emotional health. It frees your spiritual health to grow as well. This whole being that we are is intertwined. And the better you find yourself at a particular place, the better you'll be. Each step. Sometimes the steps are not very high. You got to take a lot of little tiny steps to get up. But if you're persistent and you hear the roar of others and you buy in to this belief that we as a community, in together and separately. So the women's community that Janine spoke about with Alicia, and that having been silenced and being put down and learning to not be that, and studying and praying and coming around and away from that. Amazing, right? On track. A lot of people need to hear that message. But there's others that need the similar message, that your inner roar has been overshadowed by all of the things that bombard us. So if you can redirect your focus, understand what we mean by purpose, and really try and put what's valuable into a different perspective, all of a sudden, we are affecting not only ourselves, but everybody around us, right? The people that work for me and the people on the job sites I go to, they're positively affected the more I learn to be light, to find solutions instead of stressing about problems. It's not always easy, but it models a behavior for the people that are watching me, right? So being in a situation where we can influence the people around us by modifying our behavior in a positive fashion, everybody wins. And if we're doing this individually together, as the ripples overlap each other, the good that we're growing is going to grow exponentially. Imagine if we could make it so that when people recognize who we are, whether you're in this part of the country or that part of the world, when you see some symbol, some big orange backsplash with that yellow slash and arrow, it'll mean something that makes people stop and think, am I working on myself today? If we could start a movement where we are consciously working on ourselves, every one of us, man, that is powerful. If we're all working on our relationship with God, if we're all working on our relationship with ourself, our innermost feelings about who we are and what we are, and learning that our purpose means something, that we are not random, we are not an accident. There is a purpose, and all of us is valuable, are valuable. You don't need to be standing in front of the bandwagon, wearing the hat, and bouncing up and down. Some of us have that calling. But there's also the work, right? We're doing the work out front because we've been called to model this. But the work is really individual. So if Alicia and I are individually working on becoming better forms of ourselves in these three legs that we keep talking about, where does it empower you, our people, our community. Well, the power is in seeing that regardless of your age, regardless of your demographic or where you are, if you're working in a purpose that is your given purpose and you're growing and learning, we're adding to the positivity of the whole universe. And I truly believe that that's how we're going to change the world. If the young man I spoke to at the supply house this morning goes home and talks to his wife, hey, I met this guy, he was kind of weird, but he had this great idea. He was telling me about being 0.5% better, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But he was genuinely intrigued, interested. He asked great questions. So my purpose is to share this message. I got to do that first thing this morning. I got started at a good day, because I'm out and just in the regular, normal business of my day, I got to share with somebody this thing that I'm so passionate about, this purpose effect. And that's so very invigorating. It just makes me want to continue to do that throughout the day. And then when I realized that as I'm going through my normal workday, I can do that, right? I can just be a little bit better, a little more upbeat. I can let something go that in the past my employees would have had a problem with, like, oh God, I don't want to tell David. You tell David? I don't want to tell David. Well, you know what? If I can learn to not react to these things that I can't really control, then all of a sudden I am getting to show, to model, proof, change. Here I am, watch me do it. And if you do the same thing, and then the guy at work does it, and then his brother-in-law does it because he really likes the way it's affecting his sister, and we all just keep pushing into being better human beings, taking better care of our physical health, nurturing our emotional health, taking heed, making time for our spiritual health. It makes for a much more well-rounded life and a better experience. I'm learning so much, and I've had my moments. It's been a tough week. I had some incidents, but they were shorter and less intense. I was able to move forward. The project at my home seems to be coming along. It's definitely been extra challenging, but my purpose is to be better. My purpose is to show you that I'm being better and to invite you to join the community that's trying to be better. It's simply difficult because it takes work. And we're kind of lazy in our society right now. But I think there's value in putting in the work. So find your roar. Understand your purpose. Don't let anybody stifle you from being your best self. If you're enjoying what we're doing here, Alicia and I would like it very much. We're inviting you to please like our videos, subscribe to our channels, and share. We are now available on all of the major platforms. Super excited to be in a position to do that now so you guys can share easier with your family and friends wherever they may be. Let's make this community something special because it's really all about you guys. We're just out here trying to get everybody walking on the same path, a path of purpose. I'm David Rosenfeld. Alicia Limbo is my co-host and partner in this endeavor. We would like to thank you very much, and ask you to learn your purpose and join us and become a part of the community that is the Purpose Effect.